ABC News political correspondent, my friend and colleague Jacob Soboroff on the floor of the convention, who has wrangled a very special VIP.
Nicole says I'm with a very special VIP. Congressman Jamie Raskin is down here. Nicole, it was like the deli counter, as one volunteer said. You have to take a ticket to talk to Congressman Raskin. Everybody wants to say hello to you. How are you, sir? How does it feel to be here?
It feels excellent, and there's such a vibrancy and enthusiasm to this convention. It's extraordinary.
It's no secret that you wrote this letter to President Biden about your desire for him to reconsider his role in the race. This was much publicized. You acknowledged it publicly. How do you feel to be here now in the wake of making that recommendation to him so publicly?
Well, my recommendation, of course, was just for him to talk to everybody about what was going on. And I said, you will make the right decision, as he always does. And so I wasn't trying to put a weight on the scales in either direction, but I just wanted to make sure he was hearing from everybody. We are the party of democracy. We're the people's party, and the people have a role here. You can't imagine anything like that going on in Donald Trump's so-called party, which is really a cult of a personality at this point. That's not how they work. It's all top down. The Democratic Party is the party of the people, and we've got mayors and governors and senators and representatives and union leaders and teachers and senior citizens, and everybody's here. This is why it's a remarkable thing. We are really a microcosm of the democracy. In fact, FDR used to call our party the democracy with a capital D. And he'd say, the economic royalists and the plutocrats say, invest in the wealthiest people in America, and some of the wealth will dribble down on everybody else. But the democracy says, invest in the great American working middle class. And that is the doctrine that has carried through historically for our party. We are the party of the people.
Let me read from your letter just a little bit. I do want to talk to you about Vice President Harris and Governor Walz, but you used a baseball analogy, and you said, your situation is tricky because you're both our star pitcher and our manager, but in democracy, as you've shown us more than any other prior president, you're not a manager acting all alone. You're the co-manager along with our great team and our great people. Caucus with the team, Mr. President. Hear them out. You'll make the right decision. Have you spoken to President Biden since this has all become so public?
No, we've not been able to talk about that, but I did see him at the beach, at Rehoboth Beach, very briefly last week. Look.
And he said what?
President Biden, I think, is not only at peace with this decision. I think this decision will become part of his extraordinary legacy, along with the Infrastructure Act, a $1.2 trillion investment in our roads and highways and bridges and ports and airports, and along with the Inflation Reduction Act. This decision is all about showing that part of leadership is investing in new leadership. Part of leadership is creating space and opportunity for other people. That's obviously so distant from Donald Trump's cognitive structure. He couldn't even assimilate that idea, right? He alone can do it. It's all about him. But Joe Biden is teaching us how to be better leaders.
We'll certainly both hear about the legacy that you just described of President Biden and the campaign in the future that Vice President Harris would like. And in fact, we're standing here, Nicole, right under the California delegation, my home state, and yours. What do you want to hear? I know we hope to see Vice President Harris tonight. What are you hoping to hear over the course of the next 4 days from the Vice President?
Well, I've loved everything I've heard from the Vice President so far in this campaign. And I think that I want her to reaffirm what it means to be a democracy and the relationship between democracy and freedom, because without democracy, there's no freedom. The autocrats of the world, like Vladimir Putin and Viktor Orban, are not going to do anything to defend the freedom of the people in their own countries, much less in our country or any other. And the kleptocrats and the plutocrats gathered at Mar-a-Lago, which is their real headquarters, they're not going to do anything to protect the freedom of American women. And the theocrats of MAGA are not going to do anything to protect anybody's freedom or liberty, your right to read the books that you want and to write the essays that you want and to study what you want. So I think she, better than anybody, has been articulating the relationship between democracy and freedom. And then we are the party of progress. And how are we going to keep the remarkable progress that we've seen under the Biden-Harris administration going in the Harris-Walz administration.
Congressman Raskin, I know Nicole Wallace has a question for you. Nicole, go ahead and I'll relay it to the congressman.
So today, Judge Luttig, who's one of the congressmen in the January 6th Select Committee's key witnesses in that Select Committee investigation, endorsed Vice President Harris, he said, without hesitation. I wonder if he could just speak to the importance in a democracy of the pro-democracy coalition hailing from all sides of the ideological spectrum.
Doug Luttig, one of the key witnesses, as you know, in the January 6th hearings, endorsed this campaign today. The pro-democracy coalition, as Nicole calls it, is coalescing around this campaign. Your reaction to that, your thoughts on that?
Well, look, there used to be two political parties that stood by the Constitution, the rule of law, and democracy. Today, there's one. We really are the party of democracy, or as FDR used to call us, the democracy. We are the democracy against the plutocrats, against the kleptocrats, against the theocrats, everybody who would posit some other form of government. For Donald Trump, it's all about how much money he can make for him and his family when he gets in. The democracy views the government as an instrument for the common good for everybody. How can we use the government to uplift everybody in society? Not just the richest people, they're going to do fine with us, but also for the working class and the poor and the middle class. That's what makes us the democracy.
Congressman Jamie Raskin, it's so great to see you. Thank you. And other people want to take the ticket at the deli counter to speak to Congressman Raskin. Nicole.
Hello to Nicole Wallace.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you much.
Nicole, back to you.
No, Jacob, I have a question for you. Tell me what it feels like. How does Chicago feel? What are you seeing on the ground, and what is the energy like there?
You know, Nicole, it was such a somber, obviously, beginning to the last convention in the wake of the horrific assassination attempt on former President Trump. And it feels entirely different here. I was in Aliquippa, Pennsylvania delegation. And you know what the campaigns think, by the way, about these states based on where they put the delegations. I already showed you California. Let me show you where Pennsylvania is over here. Come right this way. And I told you, everybody wants to talk to Congressman Raskin. Take a look. So Pennsylvania is over here. Delaware's over there. There's a sense of excitement. And in Aliquippa, where I was, and actually where Vice President Harris and Governor Walz were over the weekend, people were talking about how they may come to turn out and vote for the first time in a while. And that sort of spirit, that sort of energy is here on the floor. There's an excitement. And you also feel like all of the eyeballs, not just inside this arena, but outside around it too. And I actually want to show you something cool that I didn't know about. I don't remember seeing it at the Republican convention, but come on, let me show you this. There's something called a boiler room. You probably know more about this than I do, Nicole. It's outside of this arena, but in case anything were to go down, because there is going to be a lot of action here. This phone, kids, this is called a telephone. Mom and Dad had them. The cable connects to the telephone, and when you pick these up outside of this convention hall, someone in the boiler room can speak to people in the individual delegation. So, hot tip to everybody watching us over the course of the next couple nights. If you see people in any of these delegations picking up the old school phone with the curly wire, it means somebody outside in the boiler room for the DNC has got something to say to each delegate in these individual delegations. So I'll be watching that closely, Nicole.
A live shot designed for our children, right? And I make my kids watch that. This, boys and girls, is a telephone. Watch Jacob Soboroff and you'll learn something. I love when you walk around for us. I've got one more question for you. Who's got the, not to give away their battleground strategy, but who's in the very front? Who have the very, very best seats?
Okay, so come, right in the front and center right here. So we got Pennsylvania, Delaware.
Yeah.
California front and center, obviously going to be the biggest delegation, the most populous state in the union. Maryland, Nebraska. And remember, Nebraska, Nicole, is home to that 2nd congressional district, where in the case of the dreaded 269 electoral college tie, that 2nd congressional district could be, oh, the phone's ringing. Hold on, Nicole, hang on.
Get it. Who is it?
Hold on. It's still ringing?
Hello?
Jacob Soboroff, MSNBC.
Can I have a pizza? Deep dish?
Hi, are you guys calling?
Pepperoni?
Hold on. Do you need someone? Oh, they hung up. I'm going to get in trouble for crank calls. I'm going to get in trouble for crank calls, and they're going to kick me out of here, Nicole. I got to be careful. But so, anyway, Nebraska's down front and center because in the case of the tie, that Nebraska delegation is going to come into play and become incredibly important. I think with Vice President Harris now in the race, there are multiple paths to victory, whereas President Biden obviously had Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania as the main targets. But over here, just real quick, and then I'll let you get on with the show. Tennessee, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Oklahoma are down here in front. So says a lot about who the campaign thinks are important. But I have a feeling that a lot will be going on in all these delegations over the course of the next 4 nights, Nicole.